Welcome into 3 Point Stands presented by Mountain Dew. Jon Roser, Meghan, Triplett here with you to recap the full action that we had from the weekend that was. And let's start with the college basketball, the tournaments, and let's start with the women because we have a new champion. Congratulations to Stanford. And from the weekend of games, Roser, look, these were so intense and jam-packed, and it was down to literally the last shot. McDonald, she had the hot hand, and Stanford was able to double team her at one point, triple team her, and the shot was no good. And Stanford win an epic battle where they held Arizona to just 8 points in the first quarter, but Arizona clawing their way back, costly turnovers by Stanford, but Stanford Cardinals, a 1 seed, pulled out the victory. Tara Vanderveer, she's done amazing things. Hasn't won almost 20 over 20 years. And for the Stanford team, congratulations to Russell Wilson's sister, Anna Wilson. And also Cameron Brink, her godmother is Steph Curry's mom. And so Miss Curry was there too. All sports combining all together.
Like, does Stanford really need a national title? Like, they're already smarter than everybody else. But congratulations to the Stanford women, and congratulations to our own Brevin Knight, who I share a birthday with, on his alma mater winning a national championship in college basketball. That's got to be an amazing moment for all of them, and something they'll never forget. To the men's side,
well, I feel like you should be rooting for Stanford because you have a 49ers. You're the king of the 49ers. So
we won one of our Super Bowls in the 80s. It was played at Stanford Stadium in Palo Alto. So, yeah, I mean, they are right there next to each other. If you want to get to Stanford, you have to fly into San Francisco. You have to fly into SFO to get to Palo Alto, unless you're like a billionaire. And then, there's probably a private runway somewhere where you can fly in. On the men's side, Jalen Suggs obviously is the story of the weekend. That UCLA-Gonzaga game was an absolute all-timer. Look, this guy has increased his draft stock, just a ton throughout this run, and with the plays that he made the other night. I mean, the block and then the pass that he made down the court to, I think, Timmy, and then obviously the game-winning shot. That was one of the all-time great tournament games. I think probably the best tournament game. I mean, it reminded me of maybe the UNC Villanova game a couple years ago, where Chris Jenkins hit the game winner to win the national championship for Villanova at the buzzer. Also reminded me of the Duke-Kentucky game with Christian Laettner. And more so it reminded me of that game because that Kentucky-Duke game, it was back and forth all night between the two teams. And that's how this was. It was, Gonzaga, they get up 5, and you're like, okay, now they're going to push it out here. And then UCLA would just come right back at them. It was back and forth the entire night, and it brings us to Gonzaga and Baylor. I need Gonzaga to win this badly.
I know why.
Yes, I am praying that they do. So yeah, it's going. I think that this is the game we've been wanting to see all year on the men's side. They had it scheduled at one point, and then it was postponed because of COVID reasons. But we will get it tonight. Gonzaga and Baylor for the national championship. I'm rolling with the Zags and Jalen Suggs and Timmy and Corey Kispert and all those guys.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't have a dog in this fight. I think UCLA, they were the team coming out of this tournament where you just you were in awe of the fact that they got that far and the way they played Gonzaga, making it back and forth and keeping it very close. And Ju Zhang, was kind of the story of that team and his hot hand and his shooting night. But for Gonzaga, I'm with you. I want Gonzaga to win because the story of making it to be an undefeated team, I've never seen that happen before. And that is a big feat in itself. I know this year has been a crazy year, but to go along with that Jalen Suggs shot and jumping on the table and all the conversation talk about Timmy and, Mark Few and how Gonzaga's gotten here before, but they always don't seem to pull it out. I think it'd just be a great story. And it would put a great bow on the whole entire tournament because for Jalen Suggs to hit a shot like that, Mark Few had a timeout. The fact that he had 3 seconds to trust your team to say, you know what, let's just go for it, not call a timeout. I don't think anyone thought Jalen Suggs would have made the shot, but then it's a banked-in shot. It goes in. You got to win now, right? You got to win.
I hope they win. I hope they win. Baylor looked pretty devastating against Houston. These have always been the best 2 teams in the country all year. And I credit Mark Few with not calling a timeout. When Ja Morant hit that game winner, that ended up being the game winner against the Miami Heat, the Grizzlies didn't have a timeout. And I actually am glad they didn't have a timeout because Taylor probably would have used the timeout. And then it allows Miami, who's one of the elite teams in the league, to set their defense. And Mark Few said that after the game. He said, Mick Cronin's a great defensive coach for UCLA. He's one of the best defensive coaches in the country. It's like, I did not want to call the timeout and give them a chance to set their defense. Because that way it's more frantic. It's more what is going on. And it paid off for Gonzaga, and I hope it pays off with a national championship tonight.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait for tonight's game to kind of wrap it all up, the whole entire season. We'll see who's the last team standing with the championship trophy in their hand. All right, let's talk about the Grizzlies because they played this weekend. They had a big victory over Minnesota Timberwolves on Friday. They hit, 19 threes? And then you follow that up on Sunday where you're taking on the top team in the Eastern Conference and you get a win, and a win like no other, where at one point the biggest lead was 20-something points, 16 threes, sharing the love throughout the whole entire group roster. Ja Morant didn't score double figures, but he had 10 assists in that game, and you were able to defeat the Philadelphia 76ers. Dylan Brooks said after the game he's never won in Philly, and now he's got a victory. I know we're talking about cheesesteaks after the game mostly, though. Where are the cheesesteaks and why did everyone get a cheesesteak? But what did you like about the Grizzlies' wins from the weekend, but particularly on Sunday night?
Everything. That was an awesome win. Even without Joel Embiid, that team has still been very good, and they didn't have Tyrese Maxey either or George Hill, but they've still been a great defensive team. And the Grizzlies made them quit. Doc Rivers pulled everybody with 9 minutes to go in that game, and he just played his bench. And his bench actually played better than his starters did, than his regular rotation guys did. Isaiah Joe and the Tucker, Rayshon Tucker. Yeah, Tucker. He was going to come to Memphis after transferring from Arkansas Little Rock, but then went to the draft. And so the Grizzlies had to put their starters back in. But, that's just all around. Everybody on the team played great. Everybody did. Melton was hitting shots off the bench. Tyus played well. Brandon Clark, Valanciunas, Dylan, Grayson, Kyle, Ja. Everybody was great last night. And I can't help but think that because Jaren Jackson Jr. talked on Friday, I can't help but think that might have given them a little extra boost, a little extra pep in their step. He's coming back soon. It's going to be pretty soon when he is back in the lineup. And I do think that probably helped them just a little bit too.
Yeah, we think Coach Higgins said after the game where, once again, we talk about defense filling the offense, and that was definitely the key last night, where defensively they were able to get some stops, score off of them, and then offensively they got things going. And the one thing that we've been talking about is the three-point shooting, and the three-point shooting was there last night, and it's been there these last two games. And the Grizzlies, as they take on this tough road trip, and a tough road trip for really the whole entire month that they were playing, they play well on the road. They had that energy. They had that that was needed against a Philadelphia team that was coming off of a back-to-back. They were able to capitalize off that and capitalize on not having Joel Embiid. Mike Scott against Jonas Valanciunas. Jonas Valanciunas won that battle. We knew they were, but Jonas Valanciunas getting going, getting the rebounds. Fast break points was a huge thing. Pace was a huge thing. I think for this team, I can't wait to see when you get Jaren Jackson Jr. back into that group, what that could look like. But it was a great win as you first start this road trip, because now you got Miami on Tuesday night, and that's going to be even a tougher matchup. And so moving forward, I'm excited to see what the team's been able to do, because the offense has been there, and that has been so great to see. All right, our last topic is the Masters. I'm going to open up to you because I know it's a big deal, but it's happening this weekend. And I know you, the Chris Brennan Show, y'all have y'all's Masters update that, now y'all are, they put the pressure on you guys now.
Yeah, Brooks Koepka.
Yeah.
Freaking tweeted Chris yesterday and said, "Can't wait to see what you guys have in store." Brooks Koepka's coming off another knee operation. He's been trying for 2 years to get I think it's his right knee, one of them to get it right. And he was playing really well this year, and then he suffered another setback and had to go in and get another. I don't know if it was a surgery or had to get something done with it. But Brooks Koepka is my favorite golfer, so I hope Koepka wins. Also, I think the best story, Jordan Spieth, who won his first major tournament in Augusta several years ago. Jordan Spieth just won this past weekend in Texas, And that was his first win on tour in 4 years, and he's been one of the elites. He busted on the scene, and he won the Masters, and then immediately won the U.S. Open too. Then, like a year or two later, won the British Open, and then he just lost his game completely. But this year, he has been way better, starting to get it back, and he's coming off a win in Texas. So that would be another great story if Jordan Spieth was able to win a major. You also have guys like Justin Thomas. Tony Finau has played really well at this course too, but he never seemingly can win the tournament. It's going to be an awesome weekend in Augusta.